Okay, so the next part of the task is going to be look at drawing in our walls. So what I'll do is I'll be using this drawing. I've printed off myself an A3 copy here. Helpful for a number of reasons. Like I said, you can line up with a ruler specific walls to see if it is aligning with the dimension on the side. The other thing is the drawing is at a scale of 1:100, so 1 centimeter measured on my ruler on my drawing, or 10 millimeters, is equal to 1 meter or 1000 millimeters on the drawing. So if I wanted to just double check a couple of things, I'm finding that's quite helpful if you've got a good steel ruler that you can measure accurately with. But we should rely on dimensions in the first instance. What I'm going to do is just take you to my SketchUp model here, and you can see I've began the process of drawing in some of my walls along the side here. So I know this one here is 250mm thick along there, and then I've drawn in this wall here. There's a door space there, and then there is this wall here drawn in on the diagram on the technical drawing. So really it's just a matter of working your way through slowly, as I said, relying on dimensions, and in some cases there might not always be a neat dimension. You might have to look at other dimensions to work it out. And the other aspect here is worth mentioning is just again grouping and tagging. So you can see I've got a tag over here for walls, and right now they disappear when I do that. So I can hide everything else, for example slab and block, and it just leaves me with my walls. And I can just do a little test here to see if this is working alright. Now yes, it's grouped, so because when I click on it once it all lights up. If I get in here and I click on that, I should see this blue dotted line indicating that that's a surface. The blue dot, sorry. Now again over here, if I click on that, it should indicate it's a surface. If it's not, it might mean there's an opening somewhere, or yeah, it's not fully closed off. So right now I can see, I might maybe just bring back my slab, and I can start to work my way around looking at some other dimensions. Now over here, if I look at this end of the house and I go back to my drawing here, I can see I've got a dimension here right there, the largest one. It takes me from this corner up until that exterior wall on that side. So that's 9875. So what I've found is guidelines are really helpful when doing this. Now, if I'm going back into doing my walls, I want to make sure I'm in the correct group. I'm not making it and starting another separate group. So I'm just going to get into my walls group, and I think I said 9875. Yep. And what I'm going to do is just grab the tape measure, move it across up here, and put a guideline in. Okay, and that gives me some information there, that guideline of where that exterior wall, it goes along there. Alright, so looking back at this here, so that's that line across the top there. I know those walls there are 150 thick, and I've got a dimension up here for the size of that wall there, so 4150. So what I might do is get another guideline, 4150. Okay, and I can see that's giving me an intersection point, rectangle tool across here, and I want to go, let's see if it will allow me to do 150 thick. There we go. And then I could also do the same for that wall coming along there. Yep. Okay, and you can see there's a line here that I'll need to delete, and I want to treat that all as one. And then over here, okay, that line there I think I want to delete as well. So when I click on that surface, the whole thing lights up. Now I can see on my drawing there are a number of windows along here, so I will need to start, drawing those lines in as well. But that just gives you a little bit of a snapshot of how I'm sort of going about it. Certainly placing a lot of guidelines to get my positions, and then using either my line or my rectangle tool to then start to draw that in. And as I said, focusing on the dimensions as a priority and getting it accurate in that way. Now, it's going to take some time, but we're just focused on walls at this moment. So no doors, no windows, just put the walls in, and in a little bit, once they're in, we will look at pulling them up or extruding them up. Last point is to remember always, if you exit the group and you want to do more lines for your walls, you need to get back into that group by double clicking on it, and now you're in the walls group. Okay,